The war in Star Wars just got a whole new meaning. The good people over at 4chan are actively petitioning to try and lower the bar for Star Wars Rogue One, or Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. I think that it's not gonna work, but I definitely admire the attitude behind it. Star Wars is no longer a good franchise for everybody. It's a political soapbox for a couple idiots, and it's ruining it. Early reviews are coming in, and they're not as glowing as The Force Awakens, which is nice because The Force Awakens was a piece of shit. But what I'm worried about is that people are going to consider The Force Awakens great, and if it's not like that, it's going to be shit. So, I don't know, it's a double-edged sword. Me personally, if you've listened to this channel for at least like a week, you know that I feel Star Wars began with the original and ended with Return of the Jedi, and you didn't need anything else. I didn't really care for the prequels when they were out, except Episode 3. Going back, I respect them a lot more because they're original. And this new one, Episode 7, was a piece of shit. Now, on to Rogue One. It seems like they're doing more of the same bullshit. According to a review from The Hollywood Reporter, it says that this film lacks a strong and vigorous male lead, such as Han Solo or John Boyega's Finn. Now, if Finn is your definition of a strong, vigorous male lead, then you need to have your eyes checked, because that guy was so subservient to that white woman the entire film that it wasn't even fucking funny. You know, Kathleen Kennedy's on her high horse, like, oh, women have to have a place at the table in Star Wars. Well, lady, they always have. Princess Leia was one of the leads. She wasn't a side character. She wasn't relegated to, like 5 minutes of screen time like Mon Mothma or somebody useless. No, Princess Leia and Carrie Fisher all have top billing in the fucking movie. So, whatever agenda you're on is fucking wrong. You're just on a power trip and you're a piece of shit. And this movie is just it's just exacerbating the problem. So, to further read the quote, they need stronger men to balance out the Jin character and supply a sparring partner. None of the men here have real physical or vocal stature, nor any of the scenes in which they decisively emerge from the pack in any way that engages audience enthusiasm. Both Luna, I guess Diego Luna's the writer, and Ahmed have proven themselves repeatedly in big screen and television performances, but their characters never pop here. So, I was getting kind of excited for Rogue One, because I was thinking to myself, well, I heard a spoiler online about the ending, which I'm not going to ruin here for you guys, so don't worry. I won't, because I love the fans of this channel, not Star Wars in general. But this new threat of more SJW bullshit has kind of sucked the excitement from me. I guess we're stuck with it. I guess this is what Star Wars is from now on, and I guess the only thing I can do personally and suggest you guys do is don't support any kind of merchandise. If you go see this movie, okay, but don't go out and buy a fucking t-shirt. Don't go buy a Cassian Andor and Jyn Erso action figure. Don't support these characters, If you really want to win the battle against Disney and their bullshit Star Wars movies, or I should just say Kathleen Kennedy, because it's her dumbass and a bunch of yes men. See, when you had the original Star Wars movies, you had George Lucas and you had a guy named Gary Kurtz, who you probably don't know. Well, you need to know Gary Kurtz, because if you look at the first two Star Wars films, there is a level of quality that is gone by Return of the Jedi. That's because Gary Kurtz was gone by Return of the Jedi. So, you need to take into account that there was a guy to challenge George Lucas. Not everyone was a yes man like George Lucas had on Return of the Jedi and the prequels, as well as Kathleen Kennedy having on Episode 7. Oh, she's a powerful woman in Hollywood. That's great. But these powerful women in Hollywood have a stick up their ass that they're trying to prove a point, and you turn people off to your products, like Amy Pascal over at Sony. Thank God she got fucking fired, because her dumbass is the reason for the Ghostbusters remake this past year, and some of the stupider decisions like the Barbie movie starring Amy Schumer, which I guess I should do a fucking rant on, because that's a terrible fucking idea, but this is still about Star Wars, and I'll stick to it. But back to what I was saying, though, you don't have anyone to challenge these ideas. You need that, Like the Hollywood Reporter says, the guys look weak. Well, I don't care how progressive you want to be or how progressive you think you actually are or how you think you're helping society, but Star Wars has been mostly a guy's thing. And there have been tons of women that like it, but there's but they don't neuter like the characters to appeal to those women, you know? Han Solo doesn't look like a bitch in the first two movies to make Princess Leia look cool. No, he's like the hero, realistically. Luke's kind of a wuss in the first one. But by the time you get to Return of the Jedi, Luke comes into his own. Han kind of goes to the back. Him and Princess Leia have their own thing. In this new movie, it's all about this girl who I don't believe is this kick-ass fighter. Why does Hollywood have the urge to put 90-pound women in action movies? Well, they don't put busty women in these movies because I guess the women that are casting it are insecure. I don't know. I'm just reaching here. To tell you the truth, I buy, like, what's her face? Gina Carano in Deadpool. She looked like she could kick some ass. So when she was beating up Colossus, I bought into it because she looks tough. She's not 100 pounds. She looks like she can squat, you know, someone's body weight. Maybe mine. I don't know. All I'm saying is that she looks believable. Carrie Fisher looked believable for what she was doing in those movies. She wasn't staff wielding or lightsaber fighting or doing all this shit. She was shooting a fucking gun and good at it. I think she got more Stormtrooper hits than anybody else in the first Star Wars movie. So, you know, Star Wars was never this male-dominated chauvinistic bullshit that Kathleen Kennedy thinks it was. And then you get her in the Empire Strikes Back, more shots than anybody else. And in Return of the Jedi, she is the one that ultimately kills Jabba the Hutt, the one guy who's tracked Han Solo through the entire original trilogy. So it's Princess Leia that has that. I guess it's agency or whatever the fucking term those dickheads at Screen Junkies use. My point is, she's always been cool, but she's always been believable. I don't believe that a woman with a fucking extendable baton is going to beat a bunch of stormtroopers. You know, are the stormtroopers just going to stand there because plot? It's getting stupid. It's getting out of hand. And I, for one, am happy that the public and reporters and all these people, 4chan included, guys. I mean, if somebody that listens to this show is a 4chan user, or I don't even know what you would be called, but if you actively visit the website 4chan and you contribute to that board and you're kind of against this whole bullshit political Star Wars stuff, thank you. I mean, I only have one voice, and yeah, there's other guys on the podcast, and they seem to agree with me, but we're only able to reach so many people. So it feels good that so many more people are coming to this conclusion. I almost feel vindicated because almost a year ago, I came to the realization that Star Wars is not what it used to be. It's way more commercial than it ever was, which is weird because Star Wars has always been commercial. I mean, I grew up in the 90s. I was born in the late 80s. So there wasn't a lot of Star Wars until I hit about 6 or 7 years old because it was like that dead period. But there was Star Wars everything. Bed sheets, crayons, pencils, books, markers, gift bags, everything. Star Wars is the most commercial property ever. But now it just feels fake. It used to be commercial property with a ton of like merchandise and shit, but a really good story and, you know, heart and all the emotion and believability that you can put into these types of stories. Now it's just fake, and it's for the give it to me now short attention span generation, which, you know, I guess they spend money, but here's the thing. They have a short attention span. They'll give you, like, the money one time, and then you're done. If you target a broader audience of people that, you know, aren't legally retarded and stupid, that are going to watch your movie more than once, maybe you would even make more money, because I know a lot of people, we'll call them, I'm not going to use his name, we'll call him a Bill consumer. He's the worst type of consumer there is. He's so excited about the newest shit, he buys into the newest trends, but 5 minutes later, he's done with it. Then you got a guy like me, we'll use me for an example, who, if you put out something of quality, I'll support it till the end of time. Like the original Star Wars movies. Those are awesome. I still go out, well, before Episode 7 came out, I'd still go out and pick up, you know, shirts or books or action figures or something representative of the original thing because they represented a film that had a certain level of quality and timelessness. These new ones don't. I haven't seen Rogue One yet. I'm going to go see it tomorrow night, so be on the lookout for that review. But the quality's gone in Star Wars, and it pisses me off. So, 4chan, good luck. I don't know anybody that's on there personally, but I hope you guys can get the word out there, and I hope people start to open their eyes about this new Star Wars bullshit, because it's not good. And you're probably going to go in the comments, well, I liked it. Well, you know what? That's nice for you. I don't. And I think there's a lot of flaws with it. Now, if you can see those flaws and you just ignore them, that's a whole nother problem that you have. But if you go and you watch these movies and you can't see the flaws, you are the problem. because they're as clear as day. It's not me reaching for any of this. It's me watching it with my own two eyes that see perfectly clear and using my brain to analyze what I'm watching. And when it's so obvious that it's bothersome to me, who's very forgiving when it comes to movies, I think it's a real problem. Because I can forgive shit from Spider-Man 3. I can forgive shit from, X-Men movies that aren't the best in the world. But when it comes to Star Wars, I've expected a certain level, and it's laid on so thick that it just pisses me off. I would love to ramble more, but I don't have time, and you probably don't give a shit at this point. So, as always, thanks for watching. Come back tomorrow night for the Rogue One review. This was intended to be Star Wars week, but I'm having computer issues, and I can't format any of the files properly, so I'm just going to do some Star Wars videos later in the week when I can get it going. But welcome all new subscribers. Thank you guys so much, and we'll be back later. May the Force be with you.